Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. I'm Shannon at Shakao on the MakeCode forums.
And I'm Daryl at Darzu on the forums.
I'm Joey at JWonderl on the forums.
Richard on the forums and in life.
I'm Vivian at Live Cheerful on the forum.
So today we're doing kind of a throwback from our 10th stream, which is now 30 streams back. We made a game idea generator, and that's just this sort of rotating carousel of different elements of a game, and you press A to randomly select elements, and then we, brainstormed some games and built them. So yeah, shall we get into it, I guess?
Yeah. Though you were reminding me that we're so close to 50 now means we need to think of what we're going to do for our 50th stream.
Ooh, yeah.
It's got to be special.
Cool. So I think we're going to generate a couple ideas here and then pick our favorite, or maybe combine some of them. I don't know. We'll make the rules up as we go. Fast shooter.
Let's
Yeah, let's take another swing at that one.
Colorful racing school single button.
Did we do this one?
I feel like we did
we did
I
something.
think we did exactly this.
Yeah, maybe.
We
Yeah.
need to add more words to this generator.
Perplexing, racing, forest, customizable.
I like that one.
Yeah, that has potential. All right, I'll do one more, and if that one's not better, we'll stick to this. Fast, puzzle, castle, also customizable. How are we feeling?
I think customizable is a recurring thing. I wonder how we could do that, like maybe let the user choose one of several things before they start or something like that.
Yeah.
Also for racing, you could be like, typically you have like properties of the car, like how well they turn, or how well they how fast they go, or how much they accelerate, and you can kind of swap different like wheels or whatever to choose the thing. I know this is a lot to do in one stream, but
So I think the racing one then, I guess, or what is this? Fast.
yeah, I think puzzles are hard to do on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Fast and puzzle go well together, but I don't know about customizable.
Yeah, force racing sounds fun.
Cool. Let's do it. All right, so I think our idea is we're going to have some kind of racing game, and whatever you're racing, the vehicle is going to be the thing that you can customize. Yeah?
Sounds good.
Cool. So what are we racing? What's the
So what if you could choose, different wheels, different chassis, different maybe characters sitting in it or something like that. Wonder if that's feasible in the stream.
Yeah. All right. So maybe let's start with the customizable element then.
And it could
I think
just have a bunch of
you start with the racing mechanics so that we have some numbers that we can customize, and then we can kind of go in with that.
Customizable could also be, just as aesthetic instead of gameplay.
Yeah. Ideally, it would be gameplay, though, right?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I'm just going to very quickly lay in like a track. And I'm going to do like a starting line of some kind.
Yeah. Draw a checkerboard.
What is? Oh, I measured it wrong. All right.
It's good because it's like they're forest animals, and forest animals, they're not really good at well defined.
Making squares.
Yeah.
All right.
We have some reverse force perspective going on.
Yeah, I like it. It kind of
Close
looks
enough.
like it's at an angle or something.
All right, and I'm just going to start with one of our predefined cars, and we can. Cool. And we'll move with buttons, and we can talk about maybe the like movement mechanics in a bit. And I'm going to pull in this camera block as well. So all of our standard starter code. I set a tile map to define our track. I'm setting our player sprite to be this car. I'm going to move the car with the buttons, so the D-pad, and then I'm going to have the camera follow our car, so we can go around the screen now. Cool. So movement. There's a couple different ways that racing games do this. You can be constantly accelerating and use the left and the right arrows to like turn, or you can use the forward button to accelerate and turn. I don't know. You can do speed boosts.
I think the one I tend to like the most is you hold down A to accelerate, and then you use left and right to do the turning. But usually it works better in a 3D game. I wonder if it's better to just have like the D-pad should just, whatever direction you're pointing in the D-pad, it should turn in that direction, but it should have a turn radius, if that sort of makes sense.
Sure, yeah. So it'll turn you like slightly more in that direction as you go.
Like if we have like a target heading, and then we set like the current heading of the sprite, and then we kind of just have it go towards that, I think we'll get a pretty good thing.
I wonder, so right now the move with buttons default behavior is that as you hit the buttons, it changes the velocity. If you just had the D-pad directly change the acceleration in all those directions, how well would that work?
We can try it.
It would be very uncontrolled, I think.
Limits?
It wouldn't cancel out, so you'd continue going in whichever direction. Like if you're going right, you would maintain that when you're going down.
Right, you'd still need the current direction because it's right relative to your.
You would need some sort of snap back to 0.
Or friction like in beta.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. I think that's probably too complicated.
So I think I'm gonna do pressed, repeat. So someone want to talk about the difference between pressed and repeat?
Sure, but we probably don't want to use repeat on here unless we use the extension to make it usable.
I don't think we want. What were you thinking with repeat, Shannon?
Oh, because you increase acceleration as you're holding down the button, right? Like.
Well, no, it's just a constant acceleration, right? But the speed increases. The acceleration doesn't need to ramp.
Oh, sure, yeah. Acceleration doesn't need to, but like if you're holding down the left button, you should continue turning in that direction.
Right. So that works. I was thinking though that one way to do it would be if we just have sort of like a target heading, and then we kind of, whenever a button is pressed, we set the target heading to be that direction. Does that sort of make sense?
And then you're constantly turning in that direction? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? If you have an idea, go for it. Let's
Okay, I'm gonna try this out and then we'll see.
Okay. If you want to use the repeat, you're going to need to use an extension because right now it's not going to do anything useful because repeat will wait for half a second to trigger the first time and then trigger every frame.
Right. Okay.
So the extension just adds one block that lets so you can customize those two values, how long between triggers and how often it triggers. But.
I'm gonna make a variable for our acceleration, and I'm gonna set that to like, I don't know, 10, I guess. Or yeah. And then in the game update, I'm going to calculate how to accelerate the car in the direction that we want to move it in. And then I'm going to make a new variable called direction. And this is going to be a number that is between 0 and I guess 2 pi. So that sort of determines where in this like circle we're facing. So I'm gonna start at 0, which I think might be.
I think that would be right.
Okay, cool. Yes. All right. And then when you press the left button, you will change this direction and you'll move in that direction is the idea. So maybe I will do that. -1. And here, 1, and then on game update, we will set the velocity based on what direction you're facing. So
are the controls you're imagining right now, like the left will always turn left relative to your current heading?
Yes.
As opposed, okay.
So like
Okay.
you're moving in a direction and you press left and you'll keep going left.
We should probably change or add that extension real quick then so we can.
Oh, well,
that.
so I changed this to be pressed for now.
Okay.
And then I'm going to set the velocity. Set the acceleration, I guess. Okay, so the math for this is going to be I think just sine and cosine.
Yeah.
Times maybe the acceleration. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So grab my multiply block. So I'm going to do sine of the current direction that we're facing times this like scale factor for how much we want to accelerate. And I'm going to duplicate this whole thing. And x is cosine, y is sine. All right, does that look right?
Mm-hmm. So acceleration here will just be the speed though that you're going at. You have to keep spamming it.
Say, oh, you're right. Yeah, it'll continually set the acceleration, so it'll never get faster.
Or we can
all right.
change that with an A button or something like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna make it turn a little bit faster. I guess this should be a variable.
So I think one way that might be a little easier to reason about is if instead of using kind of the AX and AY, what if we just kind of maintained our own acceleration and speed and a heading, and then we just calculate the velocity at a point of time based off of our acceleration?
Mm-hmm.
Does that sort of make sense? So the idea was it would start out at 0, and we would change the speed based off our acceleration and then use the heading to calculate the velocity.
Oh, okay, sure. So we just manually accelerate the car and set the velocity based on that in the game update?
Mm-hmm. I think it would be pretty similar to what you're doing now. It'll just be like, instead of using the acceleration for the car, we just have another variable called speed, and we just add the acceleration to the speed times the,
Right. Okay, so we have our current speed, which starts at 0, our turn speed, which I'm going to set to 0.3, and I'm going to move this guy into our button pressed event so that we only have to change it in one place. Cool. Okay, so then in here, instead of setting the AY/AX, we're going to calculate the AY/AX, and then we're going to change our velocity by that amount. So we have our speed here.
We don't need to calculate the like AX, AY because we're just treating speed as like a scalar.
Sure, yeah, but we're the
So
speed
we just need to
is
set
acceleration.
VX,
Right. Like we're changing the speed by the acceleration.
Yes, but instead of setting the AX and AY on the car, we set the VX and VY.
Right, yes. So like we're accelerating in this block instead of. Okay, so instead of this, we're going to do speed. So all of this like direction calculation is the same. It's just now we're calculating our speed. Woo! All right. Cool. So I think we also need to
Probably need a max speed.
constantly accelerating.
Yeah.
Right. Make another variable.
Oh yeah, but you're right. It might also just be better if we make it so it only accelerates when A is pressed or something.
I think maybe we'll just make it decelerate if it's not on the dirt, and then
Oh yeah, that works.
it'll. So what's a good max speed? Maybe like.
Yeah, it's pretty zippy, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so instead of changing the speed, I'm going to set the speed to the minimum of speed plus acceleration, and then our max speed. Cool. All right, so this will increase our speed, or it will like cap it at this max speed. So let's see. Yeah. Kind of go around. Cool. And then the last thing to do is to have the car slow down if it's over these grass tiles. So you're rewarded for staying on this path. So I'm going to go into scene and I'm going to grab out this overlaps. And on sprite of kind player overlaps the grass tile. I'm just going to reduce the speed with like a minimum of 0, I guess.
We could make it have a negative acceleration, maybe?
That seems wrong
So,
because then you would start going backwards.
Well, with the minimum of like 20 speed or something.
But then you wouldn't be able to stop. We wouldn't be able to get out, right?
Yeah.
You get trapped.
Well, a minimum above 0, we could still move back, I think is what I'd be saying. But yeah.
Okay, so this is, if you're overlapping, we set the speed to this. I think maybe in here, actually, we want to just check to see what tile you're on. And based on that, either increase or decrease the speed so that those two aren't like fighting with each other. All right, so I think we have Yes, perfect. So we can check that the tile to the center, which is like the tile directly below my car, is dirt. Then we increase.
Oh, I think you might need to invert that because this will make it slow down on the finish line.
Ah, yes. All right. So if you're on grass, then we slow down. Otherwise, you always speed up.
And like Richard said, we need the max one to be with something greater than 0 so you can get out of the grass.
Oh,
Unless we
yes.
just want them to die.
That would be perplexing.
I mean,
Ooh.
nothing is threatening them when they're on the grass. It's a safe place where they can just live out the rest of their days.
Yeah.
Very slowly, like turtles.
It's the retirement home for cars.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So 10 is pretty slow. Oh, geez. Cool. This is like, you know, the rough skeleton of a racing game. I think last thing to do is maybe like a time. So
Yeah, I think we're going to run into the classic issue with racing games, though, which is how do we verify that they went the right way?
right, yeah. So you shouldn't be able to win by going over this finish line and then immediately back. So
We could do that with little
checkpoint.
pylons. Yeah.
Yeah. Oops. So I think I could get away with just doing one for this particular track. Do like a cone. A safety cone.
You have to run over the cone. I like that.
There we go.
Yeah, I do think you might run into the issue where people try to avoid the cones.
I don't know what looks like an app, like a
But I mean, it could be invisible, right? Because they know the
Placeholder.
right way to go.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's also fine, I think.
Cool. So theoretically, you could go straight down, but that would be over a bunch of grass, and it would probably be very slow. So I'm going to make a variable to see if they've hit the checkpoint. And it's going to start at false. And then if the player overlaps our checkpoint, then we will set that to true. And then when the player hits the finish line and they have hit the checkpoint, we will, I don't know, end the game.
Maybe we should. I feel like it'd be fun to do more laps, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Usually, like, what, the standard is 3?
It depends on the track, you know?
Okay, so we'll set hit checkpoint to 0, and then we'll change hit checkpoint by 1 when we hit it. Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess another variable?
Yeah.
Well, no, you can just toggle it, right? So when it hits the checker board,
Right.
then you set hit checkpoint to false again.
But I need a
And then-
counter.
You can raise score.
Oh, yeah. Then
Yeah, I could use a score. We already have all of that. All right. So set score to 0. So now it's displaying up here. Cool. And then if we've hit the checkpoint and we're crossing back over our starting line, then we'll change the score by 1. And toggle hit checkpoint to false. if score equals 3. Oh,
I guess this will work because it will trigger the second frame that you're running it over. As an also the third time.
right, yeah.
Okay.
Overlap at multiple frames. And then I guess I could also check it inside here, but yeah, it's probably
It
better.
could just be its own if though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Then game over?
With a win.
Yes. All right, and then we need to be tracking time. So I think I have to do this manually. The countdown isn't gonna count.
Countdown.
Yeah, I don't think the countdown will work.
All right.
But
so we
you could do it with the sprite say and the running time.
Right, yeah. So is time since start initialized to 0? Yeah, this is since. So
It's in milliseconds, so we'll
I guess I'll have the sprite say it at the end for now. So for now, you won't be able to see your time.
Well, you could just create a transparent sprite that's like relative to camera and put it at the top,
Mm-hmm.
and then just constantly have it say the time. So you see it clicking, you see it ticking too.
Yeah, all right. Variable, timer. Kind. Okay, so this is an invisible sprite. Oh no.
wait, what happened there?
Yeah, how did that happen?
I used the tab.
Okay.
Oh,
think
the
it's
tab
okay.
went to our hidden menu. Okay.
Yeah. I hit tab and then I hit enter, which selected the thing. But yeah, okay, we're fine. We're all good.
Is the code all good? By the way, the way to, without fail, go back to blocks without ruining your code is type in a bunch of gibberish and then hit it and then click discard and go to blocks.
Yeah.
I guess that would work. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So we have a timer and we're going to set it to be relative to the camera, which means it's sort of attached to our screen. So grab this sprite flags. Timer relative to camera is on. And then I'm going to change its position. So I'm going to set the timer's top to be 0. And I'm going to set the left to also be 0. So now it's in this top right corner. I'm going to have to.
Yeah. Because now it's going to have the say bubble just off screen.
Right.
I think 12 should be good.
12. Cool. And then in this game update that we're already
So
doing.
it's also going to be tough to do it with the left. I think you might have more luck just centering it on the screen because the sprite bubble is centered according to the target sprite. So you have to like, calculate the width.
Forget, we used to have the behavior that it would always stay in screen, right? Richard, at one point? I thought we did.
I don't know if it still does that though.
I don't think it doesn't anymore for sure.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so set the Y to be, and then X to be halfway through our screen, which is 60. Nope.
80.
80.
And we'll have the timer say how much time it's been. I'm going to start by the milliseconds directly. And so this is a number. So in order to say a number, I have to convert it to be a string, which you do using this join block. Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
Bubble
this is fixed
doesn't-
in beta.
doesn't- Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
All right, so the save bubble is not relative to camera.
We can probably do camera offset easy enough if you want to just update the position each.
Yeah, while we're saying.
Is that available in non-beta?
I think so.
Inside scene, is there a camera?
Yes.
Bottom. Ah, there we go.
Camera left, camera top.
Or I guess we could just make the car say it too if you really want to make it easy.
Yeah, maybe let's do that for now, I guess. In the interest of time.
We're doing fine on time. We got a half an hour left.
Yeah, but we haven't done any of the customization stuff.
I was thinking about it. Some of my favorite customization in car games is just painting the cars. Like in the old the Forza 2, I had like a little empire where I was selling the car painting that I got other people to paint.
Okay, cool. So here's our racing game. I guess it doesn't really do anything with the time yet. But that's okay.
Were we just showing the time in milliseconds?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess
Maybe
we can
divide by
convert it
1,000.
to be, yeah.
Do you have an energy?
So if you go into go into the square root block, there's an idiv.
Yeah.
Square root block. Ooh, okay. Oh, wow. All right.
So idiv will always just give out a flat number with no like decimal points or anything.
Yes. Cool. All right. So this is how many seconds. So I guess another thing I could do is, let me pull up this math thing. We could divide by like 10 and then divide again by 10 to give you like 2 decimal places.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I think you need to divide by 100 and then divide by 10.
Yeah. There we go. Cool. Okay. So, yeah. Do you want to do customization stuff?
Yeah, let's do it. So you said we hadn't done any customization stuff, but I would argue that we actually have. If you go to the variables that are defined in onStart, we have max speed, turn speed, and acceleration. And those are the 3 things that we need to be able to customize, basically, because it kind of defines how well our car handles.
Mm-hmm.
So one idea for how we could do customization is just that at the beginning, you choose your car and you can say like, so anyone ever play F-Zero?
No.
All right, well, F-Zero was a racing game with Captain Falcon. And it would, every time you chose a vehicle, it would have 3 bars that showed up. And it would say max speed, turn speed, and velocity. I think those were literally them. And it would give each one just kind of a bar that showed how good it was at that particular thing. Because obviously you want to have the highest turn speed you can for the most part.
Right. Okay.
Right. We could use the status bar extension for this if we wanted, or just the rectangles.
It also doesn't have to be bars. We could just like kind of.
We could just have like an ask.
It could just say like good, bad, or medium.
I think it looks super slick with bars, but yeah.
All right, so I'm going to move all of this out, maybe to a function, I guess. Once we've selected the car, then we'll start the race, which is going to set all of these things, and these might need to be arguments. But to start with, we're going to have like a car selection screen. So I'm picturing like a car in the middle and then like left and right arrows where you can scroll through a bunch of them.
You're gonna keep having a null pointer exception until you like guard
Sure.
for the car.
Because all the on-game updates and stuff like that need.
Right, yeah, no, but like, does that sound good as a plan?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so, and then I'm gonna make another function that's gonna be like render. Cool. So, in a variable for current car. And then, let's see. All right, I'll put that there for now. And I'm going to call draw car with this current car. And so the idea is that draw car will, based on this number, will draw, you know, the color of the car and maybe like its stats on the screen.
I think we probably want to go through all the events and just wrap them with if the car or something like that, so that they don't. So we can do it 2 different modes.
All right. So you're going to start without having selected a car. Or, okay, here, now I got it. I'm going to set this to be false. And then the current car, once you selected a car, the current car will just be whichever car you've picked. All right. So then if you've selected a car, then we go into all of this code for, you know, changing the direction. And here as well, zoom out a little bit. And also in the game update. Okay.
Probably don't need it in the overlaps.
And the tile map, the start race is fine because we'll be calling that manually. Cool. So then if I don't call start race, we should be fine. Awesome. So there's no errors popping up is the thing I'm looking for. And then in here, we will have an if statement that goes through which kind of car it is, and we'll make, you know, a couple different cars. So if
With names.
With names, yes. Yeah, maybe we don't even need, well, I'll do this for now and then we'll see. So we have a red one. And a teal one, yes.
You could have a cat one.
Oh, yes, that's a great idea. And a cat one.
Yeah, and all the car names can be like car names, and then the last one will just be like Jeremy. What was the name of Kim's cat?
Newton?
Newton, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so then on our button pressed right now, we're changing the direction, but if we haven't selected a car yet, then we actually want to change the card that we're looking at. So instead of the set, we're going to use this change. And we're going to change the current car by right is +1. And
Might want to do a set with a modulo. Or no.
ooh, yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, all right. Okay. Okay, so the problem is we only have 3 cars, so we need to sort of loop over those 3, right? So instead of changing the car by 1, which would, once you got to 3, that would change it to 4 and it would keep going. We're going to set the current car to the remainder. Does someone want to do an explanation of this, I guess? I don't know if we need to. Or...
Sure. If you do long division, this is the thing that's left over. And so it turns out it's really useful because if you've done long division before, you know that the remainder can't be bigger than the number that it's being divided into. So if you just keep calculating the remainder, if it's above that number, so if you have if you're dividing by 80 and you pass the number 81, well, 80 gets taken away and you just have the 1 left over. So you've kind of wrapped back around to the beginning. And so modulo is used all the time in programming for that kind of wrapping behavior, because it's really useful to just kind of limit this number to only be between this scope and then go back to the beginning when you're done.
Cool. Thanks, Richard.
Yeah. Another fun property of modulo is that it's kind of hard to do negatives. So what you can do instead is add the maximum number -1, and that is the same as doing -1.
Okay, so a thing that you might have seen is I'm going through the cars now, and it's sort of just adding new cars on top of the previous one, because here we're creating a new sprite with each call to the function. So instead of that, I'm going to create the car before we call the function, and the function is just going to change the image of the car, which is down here. Cool. Oh no, I shouldn't have. Here.
Is everyone thinking of car names? Everyone's going to have to contribute 1 car name, except for Shannon.
Blue steel.
Well, no, there's one more of us doesn't have to. I call it.
No, we're gonna add more cars. We're gonna.
Oh,
put
we
it-
We're going to have a pink car, right? We
Okay.
have the red, blue, cat, and pink.
All right, that's pretty good. So it's cat, red, blue, and then you can go backwards. Blue, red, cat. And then I'll do 1 more for the pink.
I have a good pink car name.
Ooh, okay. So let's start rendering these stats on the screen.
Before we forget, we should probably go change those 3s to 4s,
Yes.
the remainders.
This should probably be in a variable and calculate.
And the
We
2.
could do an array of images, but
Yeah.
What did I do?
it's complicated.
The +2 to +3.
Yes. Yeah, the thing is we want an array of we want multiple arrays.
Oh, if car equals 2 as well, and up there.
What did I? Oops. Yes. That's
Numbers
what
are really hard.
Copy and paste code. There we go.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I think for now I'm just going to store. It sort of groups the car image with the different stats that we have, so that at least keeps it all in one place. Yeah. So maybe. I guess maybe I want a function that draws the current stats based on.
Well, you could just do that and draw a car, right?
Right, but I also want to set these.
Yeah, maybe
I'll
we
do
should
it
do an
on-
array.
I think it's fine.
Well, we need to have values for each of the cars, right? So would an array be useful there?
But it would be 3 parallel arrays, right?
Yes.
For each. I think, okay, let me try this. For now, let's see. I guess we'll have some display sprites that will say, so yeah. So I'm going to create a tiny sprite, and I'm gonna give it a color for now so that we can sort of see where this guy is. Cool. And then I'm gonna have it just say the name of the car. All right. Set. Does someone have a name for this red car?
The jumpin' jalopy.
Need to get in.
Ah.
Yeah, you got a number in there.
Oh, yes. Is that how you spell?
Yep, you got it all right. I was going to specify the apostrophe too. So.
No, I could hear the apostrophe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay, get rid of the.
Yeah, they don't fit.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to also move the sprite, the car up. So change the car Y by. Cool. Okay. So then we also want to display these three numbers: acceleration, turn speed, max speed. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Status bar? Just say the number? Something else?
Status bar might actually be easier because we won't have to.
Position.
Saying the number is kind of hard.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Cool. All right. So this is an extension that Joey wrote.
Oh, now I have to remember, is it PXT status bar or PXT status bars? I think it's status bar. Why did that crash?
Didn't love that. All right. Let's try again.
It's yeah.
Oh yeah, status bar.
Great.
Yes, that is another bug that is fixed in beta. It's because you're logged into GitHub and you were doing a repo that it didn't have access to, so it tried to use your credentials.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So this is an extension that just renders status bars, and you can attach them to different sprites. You can have them show up on your screen. It's just a really straightforward way to show like, you know, a health bar, or in our case, a stats bar.
And you can give them names too, so we'll see how people like that, because I haven't tested that.
Ooh, cool. Okay. All right. So I think I'm gonna need to create them before and just set the values in here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're going to set, let's start this with the and it's going to be width of 40, height of 4 seems okay.
Mhm.
Sure, energy. And we want the max value to be, oh, here's a label too, sweet. So I'm going to make this label turn speed.
Doesn't it be turn speed bar? Cool.
Cool. Okay.
Maybe just turning.
The quantity by which you're turning. What are these numbers? Oh, these are colors.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the quantity by which you're turning. It's just saying like how good is the turning.
Sure.
See, if you set the X to 80, it will recenter it.
Cool.
Just with sprites, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So cool. And I'm gonna make this guy invisible again. Or I'm gonna make it transparent. Oh,
Yeah, it uses the hitbox.
Mhm.
So
all right.
just make it black.
Oh, yeah. Good call. Okay. So
That'll show up on top, right? Oh no, it worked. Okay.
and then this is the one to set the turn speed bar as max.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm going to set the max to 0.3 is our current one. 0.8.
Which is way too low, I think.
It was turning though.
Yeah, but like, was it possible for you to stay on the track?
I think part of that was because you have to spam the button.
Part of it's because I'm bad at games.
That's not true. Beat Celeste.
Okay, so then here we're going to set the turn speed bar's value to just turn speed. Cool. Oh, it slides down to. Is this because of decimal values?
Yeah, I think it might be integers.
The reason it was doing that is because the value is 0. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
It's fractional though, so that's right.
You can.
I'm just
Wait,
gonna.
what's the value of turn speed right now? Is it 0?
It's 0.3.
0.3.
Oh, you're right. It is 0.
No, it's
0.
yeah.
So
Wait,
it's
should
the
it
reason.
work for...
The reason it's going down slowly is because I like draw it draining. You can get rid of that effect. That's probably good. That's just a setting in the status bars.
Mhm.
But you'll want to move that up. So this will go down to 1.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. So, and then
All right. I think we're actually running out of time here.
Oh boy, yes.
So this would be a good game to pick up tomorrow, though, if everyone's okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I think what's left is just rendering the different stats and then selecting the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we have extra time, though, now we can make it like the car face different directions and stuff.
That's true, yes. And we can make the track more interesting. Cool. All right. Do we have a name, temporary name for this game?
Non-customizable racing.
There's 3 colors and a cat.
Yeah, this is totally customizable.
You can't do the racing, but you can customize.
Customizable, not racing.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Tune in tomorrow to see the rest of this game, I guess. I'm Shannon. I'm at Shakao on the MakeCode forums.
And I'm Daryl at Darzu on the forums.
I'm Joey at JWonderl on the forums.
I'm Richard everywhere.
And I'm Vivian at Live Cheerful on the forums.
And thanks so much for tuning in, everybody.
Mhm.